All I'm doing is taking what you're teaching me into other parts of the world. Kazakhstan, I went there in 2008 as a consultant advising a large farmer there who had put in a work plan to Rabobank in Holland for funding to expand his enterprise. He farms 240,000 hectares of wheat every year. Up to then, he planted 280,000 this year. And in my first year there in 2008, we discussed it. We did went through his work plan, and he's put in a 5-year program I drew up for him to move out of the conventional farming methods, which probably my father used and I used 40 years ago. The chisel plough, belt the land to death, farm as much as you can until no weeds grow, and then plant some wheat and hope it grows. So that's what we used to do. That's what they're still doing in Kazakhstan. So I wanted to move him away from the planters there, the Soviet Union planters that you're seeing there. They're 2 metres wide. They cost about $6,000. They're conventionally the old style Allwood Bagshaw planter that we used to plant the oats with around for the cow paddock, and they're still using them. The Russian tractors there, the Soviet Union tractors, 2 types. Steel press wheels, so they were using the press wheels. Even back 50, 60, 80 years ago, they were using press wheels. And they're still using them today. Those plants are still widely used throughout Kazakhstan. Technology is now arriving there. I've put 7, 8 planters in there, 4 of them with parallelograms, and 4 of them I've retrofitted to their Hirsch planters, which they purchased from the Ukraine. And I've taken off their chisel ploughs, and I've put in a direct rigid tine and a press wheel on these planters, and introducing this technology to them. It's not an easy process. It's very much an education thing. When you only get 80 millimetres of in-crop rain, sometimes only 50 millimetres of in-crop rain, you want that channeling in onto your seed. You don't want it panned off and rain panning it, and then you lose. For the snow melt, I can have up to 1 metre of moisture of planting. That gives me a good depth of planting into in that April period, which I'm getting my high yields at, and which they'll get high yields at. But trying to get them into the planting in that April period is very difficult. Because once they leave that, it could go 2.5 months, 10 weeks without any rain. Your moisture's gone, and you're trying to rip your tine in 15, 20 centimetres to put the seed into moisture. They have this idea over there that if they planted 180 or 140 or 200 kgs a hectare, at least one seed will hit the moisture and germinate. They plant on that chisel plough, which is only going in this deep. They've got dry soil. They might have some moist soil underneath. They're hoping they'll get seed at different levels, and one will come up. Right? But I try and tell them that if one comes up with that seed, it's going to grow and mature. Okay, that's good. But what about when you get 10 centimetres of rain and those 2 or 3 or 4 seeds in between come up after you've already established one? They then become weeds. You might call them wheat, they might look like wheat, but all they're doing is taking everything away from this one that you've established. So trying to educate them into that why not you sell those 3 or 4 seeds and just put one where it's meant to be.